Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Young Wildlife Photographers Photo Chat. It's your host, Martin and Alex. And as you probably noticed, there's no other people on, so it's just me and Alex. Today
Just
we're going to
us,
be doing
guys.
something. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of interviewing other photographers or having open discussions, and we're going to continue doing that. We're going to go over some general photo tips that you can use to make a decent shot go to a better one. So we're going to talk about light. We're going to talk about angles. A bunch of other stuff, and we'll probably do a few more episodes with this and also editing in the future. But yeah, so Alex, you got something to say?
Yeah. So we're looking at two photos of the same subject, so same type of bird. And we're going to have one photo that's not terrible, but it's just not the best. And there's a lot of different things we can do to make it better. And then we're going to have one photo that we really like, and we're going to talk about what's good about that photo. And also, we still might talk about how we could still make even the good photo better, because there's never a perfect shot. They don't exist.
Yeah.
And you can always improve upon some. Some you can improve upon more than others, but always improve upon stuff. So we're going to try to get through the photos relatively quickly. This will still be a kind of long episode, but not terribly long.
Right. Awesome. So gonna pull up the shots. Let's see.
And just remember, guys, we're gonna have other episodes about your settings and maybe more specifically about specific things like light. And we're gonna have episodes maybe about editing.
Yeah.
So this is not gonna completely tell you how to take photos. It's just a short little thing. So we're gonna start with mine. And although this is not about editing, there's a few specific things I like to say about this one. First of all, it looks like it's too dark of an image and the colors are off, but just take a quick look at that eye. So something in photography that you always want is a glint in your eye. And that's when, or a glint or a reflection. So it can be reflecting off something or the sun making a reflection. And I saw that this image did not have a glint. So I actually put the glint in the eye. That is a fake glint. And you can tell. Because the whole eye is black and then just a random white spot does not look natural. Guys, do not put fake glints in your eyes, okay? It does not look natural. And the background is plain, the lighting is harsh, and that just means that we have very intense highlights and dark shadows, and that's caused by the sun being high in the sky. And there's just nothing interesting about the shot. Anything else you want to add, Martin?
Yeah, I mean, also, I think blue, I don't think it's blue sky, but like blue backgrounds aren't the best necessarily. If you can avoid those, that's great. I mean, a lot of noise pops up in them and they're not really super satisfying. I mean, if you need to have a blue background, that's okay. I have actually one shot from a long time ago that I'm working on editing right now that has a blue background, blue sky background, that I might be posting soon. So it can work sometimes, but I try to generally avoid those. Also, one thing I like to mention is the composition. I feel like, if you were to go back and take this picture again, you could give it more space on the right, like a lot more space, to give it more space to look into,
Yeah. I would also like to mention that one of the reasons that blue sky backgrounds are not good is because they're just a solid color. If you can get some stuff in your backgrounds like clouds or green, it's a lot better. And, multicolored green with the bouquet maybe going through the trees can really make your shot a lot better. So Martin, let's say the next one.
So
this was taken on the exact same beach, and it's just so much better. So I actually got eye level on both shots. I did know to do that. And if I like to say, if your bird's on the ground, so is your camera. Now, even with cranes, you might end up looking up at them, but yeah, it just works a lot better. Birds on the ground, so is the camera. And the background is still a little of a bluish tint, but it's actually the water, and you can see it has a lot more texture in it. And of course, you don't want so much texture, like the background's not blurred at all, but there's enough that it looks a lot better. Also, the lighting's not harsh, and I have a natural glint, and that semi-palmated plover's eye. Then also the sand is better, it's more blurred, and it's a lot more of an interesting shot because I have more room. Like Martin said, the composition's better, and the bird has a spider in its mouth, which if you can get a picture of a bird interacting with its environment, it's always great. Anything else you want to add, Martin?
Yeah, the one thing that sticks out here is the little bit of foreground on the left that kind of just fades out, and then the bird is just like really crisp and sharp. The background's a lot more interesting. You can see the waves and the movement, but it's not distracting as well. And then the rocks are really nice too. And one thing I really want to point out as well, if you don't know this, is, and this is a little bit of a setting thing, but if you want to decrease the busyness of the background, you want to get your aperture to the lowest it can be. And we'll talk about that more in some other episodes, but that basically can make the foreground and background a lot less busy. But yeah, so the shot's great. And then it's a big improvement from the last one, mainly because composition and light, plus some other little factors in there. But yeah.
Also, guys, comment down below if you want us to rate your photos and say what you could do better on.
Yeah, we might do an episode. We might start doing some episodes where people put in like photos on a hashtag, and we talk about our thoughts on those. So that's something we're looking forward to in the future at maybe doing. I'm gonna move on to the next one real quickly. So this is my shot from 2 years ago or a year ago or something like that. This is a barred owl fledgling. Now it's a cool subject, right? Which is nice. The problem with this shot is a few things. So it's first off, it's not eye level, which with owls is extremely hard. As someone who specialized in owls for like 6 years, I know that is really difficult with these birds, but I could have backed up more to get a better angle on it. And the big thing, the worst thing here, well, also I didn't get the tail. So I cropped the tail out or cut the tail out when I took the shot. And also it's just messy. Like your eye doesn't go right to the bird. You know, there's sticks everywhere. Not in like no amount of cloning can fix this. I mean, the foreground.
You'd be surprised, Martin.
Maybe we'll see. But yeah, I mean, for just a shot, it's really just not pleasing. And the bird is looking at me, but I mean, its eyes are in shadow, as you can see. There's no glint in the eye. It's sharp. The light's not fantastic. It's just that, you know. And that's.
Oh, sorry.
I was just saying. And the one thing I want to point out is just because it's a cool subject doesn't always save the shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right here it's again the composition. There's nothing out of focus. Everything's in focus, and there's just messy branches going all around. I think it could have been a lot better if all those branches were replaced with leaves and you had leaves going around to an opening of the bird. That's when I would say the out of focus, that if it's in focus, it's okay. But here it just does not work. And then of course, cutting off the tail is just, it's not a portrait. So you get the whole body, you cut off the tail. Looking straight under the belly of a bird, you don't want to have to see its butt, you know. And lastly, the glint in the eye. You don't also get any character with the bird. Yeah. Also, looking at the background, aside from the also the glint in the eye is important because bards have all black eyes. If it was a different species of owl, then maybe it would be fine because you know they don't really need it because you can see it, their pupil and everything. But also, aside from the sticks, the background is just bad too. It's just a sky, you know, just like cloudy sky. So it's just it's just not great. I'm gonna move on to this one. Now, this is one that I took this spring. Now this is one I took this spring. And I posted this one on my Instagram. I did 2 episodes. I did 2 of the chicks from this one. But as you can see here, there's not a lot that's distracting. You know, it's just kind of tree bark. There's a hole. It's a basic shot, but the bird, you know, it's there. It's eye level. It's sharp. Your eyes aren't being led away to anything else, you know, and there's a glint in the eye that's natural as well. It's just looking at you. And compared to the last shot, it's just a lot better. One thing that I regret about this, talking about how we can make the shot better, is if I could have gotten foreground in it. Unfortunately, I just couldn't. It was on a street. It was the only tree in front of it. I couldn't get anywhere to get foreground. But yeah, so, but I mean, aside from the foreground part, it's eye level, it's sharp, it works, you know. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy with it, and it's much better than the other one. Yeah, it's really simple, and there's a lot of texture around it. And then the hole is like almost the same size as the barred owl. So it really brings your eye immediately to the owl. And when you look around the frame, it's just satisfying texture and you're not like drawn away from the owl. But I keep on feeling like my eyes just follow back to the owl eventually.
Yeah. So that's why I was a lot happier with this one than that other one. So I'll move on to
So this one's hard because it's a really hard bird to photograph. This is a golden crowned kinglet, and any kinglet is super small, moving high in the trees. Well, yeah, high in the trees really quickly. But just because it's a hard subject to photograph does not mean that you should get away with getting a bad shot. There's no glint in the eye. It's not looking at the camera. The lighting is harsh, which means, again, when the sun is high in the sky and there's dark shadows and high highlights. And then the background's not pleasing. There's no good bokeh, all the sticks going around. You just look like you're looking at a bird. It doesn't seem like the bird's really making any notice of you. So it's anything we want to add, Martin? I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, the background's not good. Sorry, I just have to cough for a second. Background's not really good. Birds facing away. And I feel like also one thing that I want to say is the glint in the eye is nowhere near as much as a priority as good light or eye level or whatever. If it doesn't have a glint in the eye, but everything else about the shot is good, it's still a good shot. That's just an extra thing that can make it.
Most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. It's just not as important. I just want to feel, because I feel like we're putting a big emphasis on that, and it's not as important as the other factors. But I mean, for this bird, problem is the big thing is it's looking away. You really don't want that. It's not eye level. It looks like there's maybe some chromatic aberration in the back.
There's just nothing. It's more that there's not anything good about this image. Every single thing about it is either mediocre or bad. So there's nothing
barred owls,
good.
It can be a hard subject.
What?
Yeah, I'm just saying, it just like I was saying with the barred owls, just because it's something hard to photograph and it's a sharp shot doesn't necessarily make it automatically good, So
Yeah.
Move on to this one. There we go.
So this one, on the other hand, it's sharp. Am I cutting out, by the way?
No, you're good.
Okay. It's sharp. It's looking right down the barrel of your lens. It's got a glint in both eyes. You've got that nice bokeh. Now, the only thing that's not the best about this shot is that in the top, there's that one stick going right above the head. Now, many of you guys might know I clone out a lot of sticks, but for some reason, this one I just can't seem to clone out. But I still think it's a good shot. And,
yeah, the stick. Oh, sorry.
And the lighting is not harsh. Now, this is actually taken when the lighting was harsh. And if you look in the backgrounds, there's some pretty bright spots, but it was shaded by the trees. So I got this kind of cool backlit look. And for this one, I feel like it's the opposite. There's nothing really that bad about the shot. I can only really point to that one stick going above it.
Yeah. So the big thing I like about this a lot is the background. Like, I love the spots in it. It's just super nice. The bird is adorable. It's looking right at you. It's eye level. It's sharp. Glint in the eye. It's just, yeah. I mean, it's looking right down your lens, right? So yeah, it just kind of works. But yeah, so I love this, and I love the bird too. But yeah, that works. Move on to the next one.
By the way.
Now, this is a tree swallow from a session that I was doing fairly recently, actually. Now, the background isn't terrible. It would look better at a longer focal length for sure. At a longer focal length, the background was better here. But I mean, there's a glint in the eye. The light's not terrible. It's not super harsh. Yeah, but the problem with this shot is it's on a man-made perch. Now, when you're shooting birds and stuff, you want to get the picture as natural as possible, unless the man-made aspect adds something to it. Problem is here, it's just kind of on a sign. I mean, you could make the argument that, oh, it's a nesting sign. You can use it as a conservational post. Maybe, like, you could use that for sure for like not necessarily Audubons, but like reservations and stuff could use it to talk about why it's important to respect nesting areas to protect the birds. But as a wildlife photographer, as just like a shot that you're trying to put in like a portfolio or something, this is not something you necessarily want to add. Also, the sign really isn't the best because it's dirty. There's a bunch of dirt on it.
I would like to intervene for a second.
Yeah.
There's literal poop on the sign. And
yeah, I mean,
I had a bird on a non-natural fence post, but it was really sharp and had a really blurry background. You know, it wasn't right that I could have cropped it for a portrait, but I still could have cropped it pretty tight and gotten a really good shot. I
Yeah.
had to delete it though because on the fence posts was just a ton of bird poop. And, you know, I don't think
It
people
just
really
doesn't
want to be
work.
staring at bird poop.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, I got you. It's
if
just
there's
the
if
problem is
there's
this.
bird poop in your frame, it's pretty hard to save the image. I know I've seen photos of like birds in flight pooping with like the poop coming out and they use it as like a joke
An
shot.
action shot, yeah. But like, so yeah, I mean, this is a hunting perch for a lot of swallows, and yeah, I mean, there's dirt on it too on the bottom. It's just not good. Now the next shot I'm showing right here. This is
Actually,
the
but
next
before
one.
you show it, oh well,
Oh, I just did.
the
Yeah,
the light on the other one was actually pretty nice, and
yeah. The light on the
this
other one was good.
and this one actually is really nice too. This is another non-natural perch though.
Yeah. So
So
here's what I
so
did
talk
with
about
this.
how did you make I'm sorry. How did you
That's
make this non-natural perch work?
So what I did with this is it was on another one, and what I wanted to do there was so what in the image in the background there was a big deciduous tree of some kind. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but the sun was setting behind it and just shining through those leaves. Now what I did with this bird is it was on a non-natural perch, so I used most of that tree to just cover the just cover the perch, basically just get rid of it. All you can see is this little bit here, and honestly, that's not going to ruin a shot. It's just a little bit of a square. I was sitting on some wood on a bird box. You know, that's not going to ruin the shot. And I used the light and just made it a silhouette to take care of that aspect and then just add more to it now. But
Yeah, the lighting is amazing and the colors in this shot are awesome. I'm sorry, I have to say one more thing. If you guys not noticed, my camera's off. It's just because we're having some technical difficulties. Sorry about that. But also about the shot, whenever you're taking a photo of a silhouette, you really want to make sure you can tell at least what kind of bird it is, like the overall group.
yeah,
And if the bird was looking right down the barrel of your lens, you wouldn't be able to see that beak, and I wouldn't have been able to tell that it's a swallow. Now, if I'm just like looking at this photo, I couldn't tell you it was a tree swallow, but I could tell you it's a swallow. And I think people have to remember that that you need to be able to tell what kind of bird it is when you have a
yeah,
silhouette.
yeah, exactly. And it's good to just have as many features that are recognizable as possible. Because I had ones where it was looking closer to me and the beak was shorter and it just didn't work out. It just didn't look as good. But yeah, so and yeah, so I mean I like silhouettes and I just use the color in this one. And I also just use the tree to get rid of the man-made perch. But yeah, so if you can get a natural perch, that's preferable. And if you have to get on a man-made, you can either use some like you can use foreground to crop, get it out of the way. You can use this silhouette tactic, or you can just crop out most of it. I have some closer shots of this, and what I might end up doing is just cropping out to the sign, so it's just the wood, and that might be usable, because even though it's not like it's not metal or anything, because you really don't want birds perched on like feeders or plastic or like actual like
And
road signs or
and
anything.
the reason for that is because it's such an easy shot to get. Everyone has those feeder shots, and you really want to change up your photo and make it stand out from the crowd. So I know
Exactly.
we don't have that much time left, but let's try to get in two more images. That's okay
All
with
right.
you.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll get these ones.
So this is a veery. It's a type of thrush, and they spend a lot of their time on the forest floor, except for when they're singing. And this one right here has a really messy background. You want to make sure that your background is far away from your subject. The farther away your background is from your subject, the more blur you're going to get. And that's called background separation. Now, when you get eye level, it often creates this background separation. Now, in this particular scene here, I don't think it would have happened. I think we would have just had more logs in the background. But no matter what, you're not going to have a blurry background and it's not going to make a great image. So here I was not eye level. You can tell I'm looking down on the bird. And yeah, again, you want that background separation. The composition's not good. There's not enough room for the bird to move in the frame. There's nowhere for it to look.
Yeah,
Anything else, Martin?
that's basically it. I mean, it's kind of grainy too, but I mean that's not always bad. But I mean, yeah, I mean you're just looking down on it. It's it's, the posture isn't good, not eye level, blah. Yeah, basically everything you said. Now, here's the other one.
Now, this one It's actually at about the same height. This log right here is really close to the ground. And the one thing I will say it's not great about this image is on the right side, there's that where the tree kind of has a little knot in it and it makes this line, but it's still a nice image because I got eye level with the bird, maybe even slightly lower than it. And I got a really nice bouquet in the background. And the posture is a lot better. And again, just a much bigger background separation, and it really just makes a huge difference.
Yeah, the shot's great. If you wanted to combat the thing in the bottom right, I think you could take some more off the right a little bit if you wanted to. But I mean, the shot's good, and yeah, there's nothing really wrong with it at all. I mean, if you want to make the shot better, I mean, maybe it getting on a green background would be better, but there's nothing wrong with the shot. I mean, it's good. It's a natural perch. It's a good bird. It's sharp.
Yeah,
Highlight the eye.
I agree though. All the colors in this frame are the same.
Yeah.
And pretty much. And it would definitely be better with a green background, but you know, I couldn't change that.
Yeah.
It was on the forest floor. I will say though about this one, it's actually looking into the left side of the frame. And for that other shot, it had nowhere to look. You always want to put room for your bird to look somewhere. And that's why I almost actually I don't think I've cropped square in multiple months. I think I always do 4x5.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the composition's good. Also, I want to point out the light is good. And one major misconception when people start out is that cloudy light is bad. For passerines, cloudy light is actually my favorite, hands down. Like easily.
Yeah, except for backlit, you always want to get that nice
glow in the sky for backlit. You want golden, but like, I mean, like I'm working on an indigo bunting right now. I've been working 5 sessions. I'm going out again today. Hopefully I can get them. And it's starting to cloud over actually, which is really nice. I just looked out the window. So yeah, with, you know, birds with like that really colorful, I find personally, I like cloudy, light cloud, because you can really just see their colors really well. But yeah, I mean, this shot isn't bad at all. And yeah, there's nothing really wrong with it as compared to the last one, at least.
Yeah. All right,
So
I think that's gonna
come back to the Zoom.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not gonna be in the Zoom. Sorry about that, guys. But I think that's gonna sum it up here today for the Ywppc photo chat with your host Martin and me, Alex. I hope you guys learned some tips for this from this video. Stay tuned in the coming weeks. We're gonna try some stuff like this. And once you guys try these tips and get some great shots, you know, reach out to us. Maybe we'll be able to get you on the podcast.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Cue the music.
Sounds good. See you guys.